the Charleston County Probate Court has already launched a drug court for citizens in Charleston County. And beginning tomorrow, they're launching a Veterans Court for citizens in Charleston. I speak exclusively with Judge Peter Kouten for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Judge Peter Kouten.
Yes, sir.
It's so good to see you.
And you as well.
I appreciate it greatly. You know, the first time I met you was at the Charleston County Republican Party's Black History Banquet in February.
That's correct, yeah.
And I know that Judge Kouten wanted me to interview you for Quintin's Close-Ups to talk about the drug and veterans courts.
Correct, yeah. We did, and tomorrow will be our first court. And so the Veterans Court, obviously Judge Kouten has been running the adult drug court for a long time. Judge Curry runs the mental health court. We also have juvenile drug court.
Okay.
The Veterans Court is a long time coming. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and we talked about that.
Yes.
But a lot of veterans in Charleston. We got a VA hospital here, and we are starting tomorrow with our first veteran. The criteria: justice involved,
yes.
A veteran from any branch of the military, National Guard, and some type of mental health or addiction issue.
And how do you, as a judge, get prepared for this?
Well, you know, you got to have some compassion, and you have to understand that it's an illness, the addiction issues. Obviously, if you have PTSD,
yeah.
MRI, traumatic brain injury, that's clearly an illness. But with addictions, if you realize it's an illness and you realize that the participant can't help it, well, we can help him help himself. And so that's how you prepare. A lot of information, and you got to temper your results. What is a success? Is it 1 in 10, 2 in 10? And so that's basically how you do. And we're creating a path through the VA. They have a lot of resources. This is the first time we're going to use them. They care about their veterans, the Ralph H. Johnson VA. If you hear stories about the VA, it's not this one. We have some of the best doctors up there. So, long answer to a simple question.
Sure.
Yeah.
You talked earlier about those successes. What else have you found out in your research when it comes to the Veterans Court?
Well, Robert Russell up in Buffalo, and I've met with him, not yet this year, but I'll see him in July.
Okay.
Met with him 3 times last year. Every time I see him, I have different questions. He started the first Veterans Court going on 20-something years ago now. And so that's how we prepared for it. It's been a long process. Everybody from the solicitor, Solicitor Wilson, to Public Defender Ashley Pennington on down sees the need, but we're looking to get the process in place. And now we're ready to move forward. Yeah.
What more needs do you want coming out of this Veterans Court?
Needs as in, how do you mean?
Let me ask you like this. What do you hope the particular participants come out of from this particular Veterans Court? What do you want them to walk away with in your mind?
Okay. When you walk away with your sobriety, then you're left with dealing with illnesses that are maybe a little bit more difficult to treat. Now, it's an interesting disease. It's not like cancer where you can quit something and be done.
Right.
It's an interesting disease where if you abstain from use, that's it. Simple solution, hard to do. And so once you do that, miracles happen. The participant head clears up.
Right.
He's no longer a burden on society.
Right.
He doesn't go to jail, hopefully. He doesn't continue to break the law to support his habit. And then he gets his family back.
Yeah.
Gets his wife back, gets kids back,
Right.
gets a job.
Right.
And then hopefully what happens is he or she comes back here to the court and shows, I am a result of the Veterans Court. I can help. Talked to a lot of people in the planning, and not one of them said, no, I don't want to help. A lot of them say I'm kind of too busy, I can't help right now. But we have 8 mentors. Our staff was 10 people last week.
Wow.
So the community's involved, the VA's involved. What we're looking for is a guy to stay clean and sober,
Right.
or a girl.
Right.
I don't know what it's going to look like as far as the results, but you got to figure if we'll start with 1, which is what we're doing tomorrow. If 1 stays clean and sober, that's it has a ripple effect.
And when you talk about the Veterans Court, how many participants are in that in your mind?
You mean looking forward?
Oh yeah, you can.
30, 45,
Wow.
and then since this is the 9th Circuit,
Yeah.
we open up to Berkeley County.
Right.
And so this is what Judge Kouten did here, is got the adult drug court working, and actually now Berkeley County is booming.
Yes.
They followed our model,
Right.
and they have as big a drug court or bigger as we have here.
Here.
Yeah.
And let me get back to you. Obviously, you're Judge Peter Kouten. You were appointed Associate Probate Judge for Charleston County in May 2017. What is the biggest difference between 2017 and now in your mind being on that bench?
In 2017 on the bench, I knew what it looked like from the other side. I knew what I wanted to accomplish representing my client.
Yeah.
It's nice to walk out of the courthouse winning, but then when you're on the bench, you're a referee.
Right.
You have to choose sides.
Right.
My position in the past was I'm right, and I have to prove I'm right. And so now you do have to weigh the evidence. And even as a lawyer, you know whether you have a strong case or not.
Right.
This court is a little bit different. We do commitment hearings for those with mental illness.
Yeah.
We do guardianship conservatorships for elderly, those who need protection.
Right.
And then, of course, the estate division. So when I see that, if I'm on the bench, someone coming to this court, underlying, they may have anger, but underlying they have grief. They've had a loss, and so you have to consider that from the beginning. And so, regardless of how the argument comes to the court,
Right.
I have to understand that I'm going to respond with tolerance and compassion,
Right.
and understanding, because it's people's loved ones. So
Yeah.
I've learned that in the process. I've also learned that even being here 2 years, I'm new. You don't learn everything in 2 years.
2 years, no.
It takes a while.
Takes a while.
Takes a while. Yeah.
I know it's been 2 years since you've been on the bench. What is that one person that still is in your heart and mind when you think of you being a judge right now?
There's been a few. Anything that I've done that's worth doing, I've had a mentor. Judge Russell says that your Veterans Court won't be successful unless you have mentors. Someone near and dear to you, when I was in law school, Mike Seekings. He's made a great impression on me. It's little bits and pieces from different professors.
Yeah, great guy.
But he told me one time the best argument you'll have is in the car on the way home, because under those circumstances, this is when I was in law school,
Right.
you may not say what you want to say. That was a valuable piece of information because it allowed me to prepare and think, oh, I'm not going to let that be true. Sometimes it was true. But, I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
I had someone in the other seat for a long period of time. I'm a black belt. I have a sensei.
Right.
I was in the Marine Corps. I had my CEO and those above me. So, and Judge Quintin here,
Right.
and Judge Curry.
Oh, yes.
Judge Kirchner.
Right.
Everyone who has been here has something to offer. And the amazing thing is that the team here, the support staff,
Right.
I learned from them too. So,
What do you hope to offer in the next 5 years as an associate probate court judge?
well, it's all community based. What we do is we respond. obviously you have, they come to us, right? Right now we have this courtroom, this courthouse at 100 Broad. We also have one at 84 Broad.
Okay.
It's a huge county, a lot of coastal areas. Coming to us can be burdensome at times.
Sure.
And we've talked about ancillary places that we can accommodate the community. But it's all about accommodating the community. Continue to do what we do, and I was next door and was with Judge Hendricks,
Yes.
and there was another federal judge who said, I was at the probate court last week.
Wow.
Your staff is there. They smile. They greet you with a smile.
Right.
And if we continue to do that, we're serving the community. Yeah.
You talk about the community. How do you educate the community about the probate court in 2019?
It's tough. People, people walk into 84 Broad and say, "Is this probation?" And so, unless you have a loved one who's passed away, you don't really get familiar with the probate court. We do have obviously the commitments. It's tough to educate the community, but you do it one family member at a time. And so we just had a meeting where one of the judges had a commitment, and so who was going to cover her? We go to senior centers, adult facilities, churches.
Oh yes.
We actually go to anybody who will have us,
Right.
and so that is the community outreach. A lot of times describing the process for probate, but a lot of times also explaining the importance of planning documents, a will, healthcare power of attorney, durable power of attorney. When something happens, which not doing the documents will not prevent that. We will always die. And so by not doing the will does not prevent you from dying. And there's a fear involved with getting the documents in place. But we talk about that and the essential documents in place that actually prevent you from having to come to the court. If you have a power of attorney, you don't need a conservator or a guardian. And so that helps us as well. And it allows you to choose instead of having the court choose for you. So,
Obviously, there's big talk about growth here in Charleston County. How does the probate courts really deal with that right now?
we are growing. More people are retiring down here. We have, I think, 2,200 cases in the estate division that was open last year. And so 2,200 death certificates, 2,200 decedents, and that's every year. And it keeps growing. And so you go to county council, ask for more staff members, you ask for more help.
Right.
But you also change the process and the system and the planning. And so what we do is we talk with the staff to see how can we do this better. Always talking about how can you do this better and more efficient.
Right.
And so that's how you do it. I mean, growth is growth.
Right.
You just keep up with it. And if you need more personnel, you ask county council.
That's so great to hear.
Yep.
That's great to hear. Well, Judge Peter Kouten, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Quintin, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
seeing
you. Likewise.
Yeah.